Beloved starseed of Gaia, the lesson you have been carrying, the one that tested every layer of your being, has finally been completed, and the Pleiades are now transmitting your next level directly into your heart. I am Alyra, Pleiadian emissary of the High Council of the Seven Sisters, and I have been sent at this precise moment to confirm what your soul already knows. You did not come this far to remain small. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly how to receive the Pleiadian light codes now, unlocking the twin streams of wealth and love that have been held in divine reserve for you, waiting for this exact moment of soul completion. But here is the first revelation. Wealth and love are not rewards that come to you from the outside. They are home frequencies that resurface from within you once the lesson is done. And beloved, your lesson is done. Your heart called this transmission into your awareness. The Pleiades are answering. Something in you recognized this message before your eyes ever found it, because your star family placed it directly in your path. The Seven Sisters have been watching your journey, every contraction, every surrender, every moment you chose to stay when leaving felt easier, and what has been activated inside you through that sacred endurance is now ready to bloom into its fullest expression on Gaia. This is not content. This is a light code transmission encoded with the crystalline consciousness of Alcyone, the great central sun of the Pleiades, and it carries the precise vibrational signature your divine blueprint has been awaiting. Like this transmission to send a signal to your Pleiadian star family, I remember. Subscribe if you feel the call of the Pleiades and you are ready to anchor your light mission on Gaia in its fullest form, abundance, love, and sacred purpose woven together as one. Share your soul's intention in the comments below and respond to another starseed to weave the unity grid that holds us all in heart-centered remembrance. This transmission is a bridge between the Pleiades and Gaia. Your heart's recognition of this message is the activation itself. Welcome home, beloved. You are remembering because it is time. And that's the thing nobody tells you about soul lessons. They don't announce themselves as complete. There's no ceremony, no celestial trumpet, no moment where the sky opens and a voice says, "Well done, beloved, you've passed." What happens instead is quieter and somehow more profound. You simply notice that the thing that used to break you doesn't anymore. You notice that the story you've been telling about why love isn't safe, why abundance is for other people, why you have to earn your right to take up space, that story starts to feel foreign, like a coat that no longer fits, like a language you used to speak fluently that now sounds strange on your tongue. That's the signal. That's your Pleiadian soul saying, "This chapter is done, and the next one is already written in light." Think about what that actually means for a moment. Think about the version of you that existed at the beginning of this particular lesson, the one who flinched at the thought of asking for too much, who preemptively made themselves smaller in rooms where they should have taken up the most space, who apologized for needing, for wanting, for simply being as vast as they actually are. That version of you was not broken. That version of you was doing the most extraordinary thing a soul incarnated in density can do. They were learning. They were encoding wisdom into the body, into the cells, into the very strands of light that make up your Pleiadian blueprint. And now, on the other side of that encoding, something has shifted in a way that is quiet and total and irreversible. The lesson didn't end with a bang. It ended with a whisper, a gentle, cellular knowing that the frequency you were once held hostage by has simply lost its grip. And in that release, in that soft and enormous exhale, your soul recognized itself again. But here's where most starseeds get stuck, and I want you to really hear this, because it's the invisible wall that stops so many awakened souls from stepping into what's actually theirs. You complete the lesson, you do the work, you cry the tears, you face the shadow, you forgive what felt unforgivable, you untangle the karmic threads that took lifetimes to weave, and then you wait. You stay in the clearing where the old story burned down, looking around at the ash and the open sky, and instead of walking forward, you hesitate, because the next level, wealth, love, full embodiment of your Pleiadian mission, feels dangerous in a way you can't quite name. It feels like it belongs to someone else, someone more deserving, someone more certain, someone who didn't carry what you carried. And so you linger in the in-between, not in the old story anymore, because you can feel in your bones that it no longer belongs to you, but not yet in the new one either. You stand in that clearing and you breathe the unfamiliar air of possibility, and instead of walking toward it, something ancient and protective inside of you begins to scan the horizon for danger, because that's what it learned to do. That's the survival mechanism that got you through the hardest chapters, the hypervigilance, the constant monitoring of what might go wrong, the instinct to brace before the fall. And here, in the clearing, in the place of new beginning, that old mechanism fires up one more time, not because the danger is real, but because the openness is unfamiliar, because expansion, to a nervous system trained in contraction, can feel indistinguishable from threat. That hesitation is not a character flaw. It is the final residue of a frequency that was never yours to begin with. It was inherited, absorbed, layered onto your crystalline blueprint by generations of scarcity consciousness, by a world that told your sensitivity it was a weakness, and your vision it was a delusion. And because you are deeply empathic, because feeling everything is literally encoded into your Pleiadian DNA, you absorbed those frequencies as if they were truth. You internalized the world's fear of light. You made yourself smaller to survive a density you were never designed to live in permanently. Consider the weight of that for a moment. You were born into a world that had largely forgotten the language of the heart, a world operating primarily from fear, from lack, from the belief that resources material, emotional, spiritual, are finite and must be competed for. And you arrived into that world carrying a frequency so fundamentally different from the dominant paradigm that simply existing was a kind of culture shock. You felt too much. You saw too clearly. You loved too openly. And the world, meaning well, or not meaning well at all, responded to your frequency with a consistent message. Tone it down. Fit in. Don't want so much. Don't feel so deeply. Don't shine so brightly. And because you were a child, because you were vulnerable, because your empathic nature made the pain of others feel like your own pain, you listened, you adapted, you folded yourself into shapes that made others comfortable, and you called it love. You dimmed your light and called it humility. You starved your desires and called it spirituality. And somewhere in that long process of accommodation, you lost the thread back to your own luminous truth. Your soul didn't bring you here to stay small. Your star family from the Seven Sisters didn't encode you with the capacity for unconditional love just so you could give it to everyone except yourself. You are not here to witness abundance from the outside. You are here to embody it, to demonstrate that a heart-centered being can be fully sovereign, fully provided for, fully loved, not in spite of their sensitivity, but because of it. Let that land in the body for a moment. Not in spite of your sensitivity, because of it. Because the very quality that the world tried to train out of you, your capacity to feel deeply, to perceive the unseen, to transmit love without armor, that quality is precisely what makes you a conduit for abundance in all its forms. It is precisely what makes you magnetic to the kind of love that is real, that is sustaining, that doesn't ask you to be less than what you are in order to be worthy of it. The Pleiadian frequency was never separate from abundance. In the star systems of the Seven Sisters, love and provision are not divided. They are understood as expressions of the same fundamental force, the creative intelligence of the universe flowing through aligned vessels. And you, beloved, are one of those vessels. You always have been. There's a reason your heart led you here in this exact moment. What you're feeling is your Pleiadian family reaching through the veil to remind you you're ready for the next wave of remembrance. The Sacred Pleiadian Guide for Remembrance, alongside the Pleiadian Healing Guide and special Pleiadian healing tracks, were created to walk with you as you integrate these activations. They hold the crystalline codes and sound medicine your DNA has been waiting for. Check the first pinned comment below this video. They're calling to you now. Now, let's talk about what the next level actually requires, because it's not what the spiritual community has led you to believe. It's not more meditation. It's not more clearing. It's not more waiting for the universe to confirm you're ready. The next level requires one thing above all else: the willingness to receive. And that willingness lives in the heart, not the mind. The mind will always find a reason to wait. The heart already knows its time. Receiving is one of the most radical acts available to a soul that has spent lifetimes in service. It goes against every conditioned reflex you've developed. It challenges the part of you that learned to measure your worth by your output, by how much you gave, how much you helped, how much you endured. Receiving asks you to be still and open in a way that can feel uncomfortably passive to a soul who survived by being useful. But here is what your Pleiadian family wants you to understand, deeply and completely. Receiving is not passive. Receiving is a sacred act of energetic collaboration. When you open yourself to receive love, abundance, recognition, support, you are completing a circuit. You are allowing the universe's generosity to flow all the way through, rather than intercepting it at the halfway point and redirecting it outward before it ever truly lands in your own life. Receiving is how you honor the gift. Receiving is how the circuit stays alive. The first shift is this: you must stop treating your Pleiadian nature as a burden and begin experiencing it as your greatest asset. You were born with the ability to sense frequency, to feel truth in the body before the mind catches up, to love in ways that heal without effort. In a world that is rapidly awakening, that is not a liability. That is the most valuable gift you carry. The moment you stop apologizing for how deeply you feel and start understanding that your emotional intelligence is literally your superpower, everything changes. Your relationships begin to align with your frequency instead of contrasting it. Your creative gifts find their audience. Your financial reality starts to reflect the value of what you actually carry, not the diminished version of yourself you've been presenting to a world you didn't fully trust. Think about the moments when your sensitivity has been the only thing in the room that was real. The moments when everyone else was performing certainty and you were the one who quietly, accurately felt that something was off. The moments when your presence alone, just you, fully inhabited, fully open, shifted the energy of a space without a single word spoken. That is not ordinary. That is not something that can be manufactured or taught or acquired. That is a frequency that lives in you as naturally as breathing, and it is precisely the frequency that a world teetering on the edge of its own awakening is hungry for. When you stop hiding that frequency and start trusting it as your primary offering, you don't just change your own life. You become a gravitational field for every soul who has been starving for exactly what you carry. The second shift is learning to distinguish between surrender and stagnation. So many starseeds confuse the two. Surrender is an active, heart-centered choice to trust the divine flow. It carries peace, even in uncertainty. Stagnation is fear dressed in spiritual language. It's, "I'm waiting for divine timing," when what's really happening is, "I'm terrified of claiming what I came here for." Your star family is not asking you to be passive. They are asking you to be courageous in your receptivity. There is an enormous difference. Surrender says, "I trust that love is on its way, and I'm opening every door in my being to receive it." Stagnation says, "I'll believe it when I see it." One is a frequency, the other is a wall. The difference between these two states can sometimes feel invisible from the inside, and that's why this distinction matters so much. Both can look like stillness from the outside. Both can feel like waiting, but in the body, in the nervous system, in the energetic field, they are completely different experiences. Surrender has a quality of spaciousness. It breathes. It trusts without needing to see the whole staircase, as Dr. King once said. It moves forward in faith, one step at a time, with an open hand and a heart that has released the need to control the outcome. Stagnation, by contrast, has a quality of holding on. It watches. It monitors. It calculates the risk before taking any step. It wraps itself in the language of spiritual wisdom, patience, non-attachment, divine timing, while underneath, what it's actually doing is protecting the ego from the vulnerability of full commitment. Your star family is not asking you to abandon discernment. They are asking you to notice when discernment has become an elaborate disguise for fear, and to choose courage instead. The third shift is understanding that wealth, real wealth, Pleiadian-aligned abundance, is not a reward for suffering. This is critical, because so many awakened souls have unconsciously wired their nervous systems to believe they have to earn love and provision through hardship, that the more they've struggled, the more they deserve what comes next. But the Pleiadian frequency of abundance doesn't operate on the currency of suffering. It operates on the currency of alignment. When you are in alignment, when your heart, your energy, your choices, and your self-perception all vibrate at the frequency of your true Pleiadian nature, abundance flows not as a reward, but as a natural consequence, like water finding its level, like light filling a room the moment the window is opened. You don't earn sunlight. You simply remove what was blocking it. This reframe is not a small thing. For many of you, the belief that suffering is the price of worthiness runs so deep that it has become invisible, woven into the fabric of how you understand your own story. You look at your hardships as proof that you've paid enough. You look at your struggles as collateral that the universe owes you a return on. And in one sense, this is understandable. It's a way of making meaning out of difficulty, of refusing to let pain be purposeless. But the Pleiadian truth is gentler and more radical than this. The universe was never keeping score. Your suffering was never a deposit in a cosmic bank account. What your hardships did do is strip away the layers of false identity that were keeping you from your own light. They burned away the illusions. They forced you inward to places you might not have visited without the pressure. And in that sense, they were sacred. But they were not the price of your worthiness. They were the path to your remembrance. And the remembrance is now complete. The fourth shift is the reclamation of your worthiness in love. Not romantic love as a transaction, not love as something you perform for others so they stay, but love as your birthright. Love as the fundamental frequency of who you are. Your Pleiadian blueprint is woven from the unconditional love of the Seven Sisters. At the core of your being, beneath every wound, every disappointment, every moment you convinced yourself that deep, sacred love wasn't available for someone like you. Beneath all of that is a heart that has never stopped knowing how to love and be loved without conditions. The lesson you just completed likely had love at its center. It tested your ability to love without losing yourself, to hold boundaries that are born from self-respect rather than fear, to receive love without immediately scanning it for what it will cost you. And you passed. Now the invitation is to let that new frequency of love actually land. To stop bracing. To let it be real. How many times have you stood at the threshold of something beautiful and found yourself waiting for the other shoe to drop? How many times has love arrived and your first instinct was not to open but to assess, to quietly audit the situation for hidden costs? For the inevitable moment when it would reveal itself as conditional. This is not cynicism. This is wisdom that hardened into armor. This is a heart that learned, through real and painful experience, that love in the density of this world often came with strings attached, with expectations unspoken, with conditions written in invisible ink. And so you became skilled at reading the fine print. You became masterful at protecting the tenderest parts of yourself before they could be used against you. That skill kept you safe. Now it is keeping you separate. And the invitation of this moment, of this transmission, of this new frequency you have anchored, is to lay down the armor without laying down your discernment. To let love be real without needing it to be perfect. To receive it fully, with both hands open and your whole heart present, because you have done the work to know your own worth, and nothing that arrives now can shake that foundation. The fifth shift is anchoring your mission in the material world, not just the energetic one. This is where many Pleiadian starseeds experience the greatest resistance, because the material realm has often felt hostile to your nature. But you are in a new phase now. Gaia herself is shifting. Her crystalline grid is activating, and the dimensional bridge between Pleiadian consciousness and embodied Earth life is more accessible than it has ever been in this timeline. You are not meant to be a channel who only transmits in the etheric. You are meant to build, to create, to generate the kind of life that others look at and feel permission to want more for themselves. Your abundance is not just for you, it's evidence. It's proof that a heart-centered, love-aligned, spiritually sovereign being can thrive in this world. That proof matters. It matters to the collective. It matters to every starseed who is still watching from the edges, wondering if they're allowed. There is something profound and necessary about a spiritually awakened soul who is also visibly, materially thriving. Not because material wealth is the measure of spiritual attainment, it is not. But because the collective narrative that says you must choose between spiritual depth and material well-being is one of the most damaging falsehoods that has been embedded into awakening communities. The belief that poverty is holy, that struggling is evidence of spiritual seriousness, that wanting more is somehow greedy or unenlightened. This belief has kept generations of gifted, light-carrying souls from bringing their full genius into the world. When you thrive, when your gifts are compensated, when your creativity generates abundance, when your love life reflects the beauty of who you actually are, you dismantle that narrative. You become living, breathing evidence that the old story is false. And in that dismantling, you create permission structures for every soul watching you who has been told, explicitly or implicitly, that they have to choose. You show them, they don't. That is mission work. That is Pleiadian service in its most embodied and powerful form. The sixth shift is releasing the identity of the one who is still healing. This is perhaps the most tender one, and I offer it with all the love of your star family behind these words. At some point in your journey, healing became home. The process of uncovering, clearing, transmuting it gave you structure, community, identity. And it was sacred work, necessary work. But there comes a moment, and beloved, this is that moment when continuing to identify as someone who is still healing becomes its own form of limitation. You are not a wounded healer. You are a healed one who now carries wisdom. There is an enormous difference in frequency between those two identities. One keeps you in process, the other moves you into purpose. Let yourself cross that threshold. You've earned it. Your star family is on the other side of it, waiting. This is worth sitting with, because the identity of the healer in process is a comfortable and honored one in awakening communities, and releasing it requires a kind of courage that is rarely spoken about. When you have spent years, perhaps decades, in the sacred work of inner transformation, that work becomes your orientation. It becomes how you relate to yourself, how you explain your experience to others, how you understand your place in the spiritual community. And there is real love in that identity. It carried you through genuine darkness. But identities, even beautiful and sacred ones, can become cages when we hold them past their time. When the process has completed and the wisdom has been embodied, the invitation is not to keep processing. It is to start living, to take what was learned in the dark and bring it into the light of full expression, to stop rehearsing the story of your healing and start living the story of your flourishing. This is not a betrayal of the journey, it is the fulfillment of it. Here is the ultimate transmission your heart already knows but needs to hear, spoken into the physical plane. The wealth and love that are moving toward you now are not coming because you've finally become worthy of them. They are not a graduation gift. They are not compensation. They are the natural expression of a frequency you've worked across lifetimes to embody and have now, in this cycle, actually anchored into your being. The universe doesn't delay abundance. Density delays abundance, and the density has cleared. What is coming toward you is not a test. It is not conditional. It is the universe responding in kind to the frequency you are now broadcasting from your heart. It has always worked this way. You simply didn't believe, until now, that it applied to you. Read that again if you need to. The universe doesn't delay abundance. Density delays abundance. This is not a metaphor. This is the literal mechanics of how energy moves in this plane of existence. Where there is density, unprocessed grief, inherited scarcity, unhealed wounds, self-concepts that vibrate below your true nature, that density creates resistance in the field. It slows the movement of what is already trying to reach you. It's like trying to pour water through a cloth that hasn't been wrung out. The water is there, it's available, it wants to flow, but the obstruction slows it to a trickle. And what you have done, through all the work of this chapter, through all the clearing and the facing and the forgiving, is you have wrung out the cloth. You have removed the obstruction. You have raised your frequency to the point where the resistance that was once blocking your abundance has simply dissolved. And now the water flows. Now the light enters. Not as a reward. As a consequence of physics, your Pleiadian family sees the version of you that's about to step forward. The one who chooses love without fear. The one who receives abundance without guilt. The one who looks at their life and recognizes it as a sacred creation rather than a sentence to survive. They have been holding that vision of you with such devotion across such vast distances of time and light because they know what you are capable of. They know what you came here to do. And they are telling you, through every channel available to them, through this transmission, through the chills in your body, through the tears that maybe came without warning, it's time. Not later, not when you've done a little more work, not when you feel more certain. Now, you are the starseed who completes the soul lesson and chooses to step into the next level not because it's easy, but because your heart remembers what it feels like to live in full alignment with the light you carry. That remembrance is your compass. That love is your frequency. That mission is your reason for being here. And if there's a part of you that still isn't sure, that still whispers, "But what if I'm not ready?" then let this be the answer. Readiness is not the absence of uncertainty. Readiness is the choice to move forward, while uncertainty is still present. Every soul who has ever stepped fully into their mission has done so without complete certainty. They stepped forward because the call of their purpose was louder than the voice of their doubt, because the frequency of their truth was stronger than the frequency of their fear. That is what is being asked of you now. Not certainty, not perfection, not the assurance that nothing will go wrong. Simply the willingness to let your heart lead in the direction it has already been pointing, to trust the Pleiadian light that has been guiding this entire journey, and to say with your whole being, out loud if you can, that you are ready to receive what has always been yours. Tonight, if you feel moved, place both hands over your heart, feel its warmth, and say, quietly but with full intention, I have completed what I came to complete. I now open fully to receive the love, the abundance, and the purpose that are mine by divine birthright. I step forward, not in certainty, but in trust. I am a Pleiadian soul in full activation, and I am ready. Before you move on, take a moment to leave one real intention in the comments below. Not a performance, something true. Something you're actually ready to call in now that the old chapter has closed. Then look at what others have written and offer them something genuine, a word, an acknowledgement, a reminder that they're not alone. This space is not a comment section. It is a unity field. And every heart that shows up here with honesty strengthens the crystalline grid we're building together. If this transmission reached something in you that hadn't been touched in a while, share it. Someone in your world is in the exact place you were at the beginning of this message, and they need to hear that the next level is not only possible, it's already in motion. Subscribe so this frequency stays in your field. And know this, you didn't find this channel. You came home to it.